following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
On today's episode of Locked On Canucks, full-time hockey reporter Trevor Beggs is going to confirm that Elias Pettersson is a way better player than Connor McDavid. Have fun.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, Kyle, I'm not quite sure about that, but are the Canucks the best team in the Pacific Division? What? Okay, let's get into it in a couple of minutes. For now, I got to let you know that you're listening to Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a full-time Canucks reporter for Daily Hive, Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you and you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. And hey, my employment status might have changed, but here on Locked On Canucks, I'm not going anywhere. Before we dive into the show, got to let you know today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Just ask Kyle Bhawan and visit the FanDuel app today to start planning your future bets now. I'm not sure if Kyle, our resident Green Bay Packers fan, is going to make it through the episode, considering that Micah Parsons just joined his favorite football team, the Green Bay Packers. But on today's episode, what we do want to do is power rank the Pacific Division. And here's how we're going to look at it today. We've broken down the Pacific Division by three categories: goaltending, defense, and forwards. And we've given them all an equal weight. We'll see which team ends up with the best ranking in the Pacific Division. Before we get into that, Kyle he's busy tweeting away about Micah Parsons, texting his Green Bay buddies. But Kyle, do you think the Canucks might be the best team in the Pacific Division?
I think they may have the strongest D in the division. Something that I'm jealous of. But they're not. Come on, they're not. Nobody can confirm that the Canucks are nobody can even predict it. I'm sorry. You can fan the way you want to fan, but until the Canucks prove that they're consistent enough to win actual hockey games and not in the world of assumption, even when they do have the strongest D in the world, trust me, like the D is not everything. Just take it from me, okay? There's other ways to be more consistent, and it's just a matter of fact. And until they prove that they can do the right things on the ice, this team is not legitimate. Now, on paper, things could look good, maybe weaker down the middle, but again, they could look good. One of the best players in the world. Maybe Pettersson comes back. Demko Lankinen, boom, bam. Demko's looking good in the offseason, feeling healthy. No other team has goaltending like this. But again, there is not one person that can predict the Canucks are the best team in the Pacific Division. They can't. Now, can this team say they have the second best player in the division? I think so. And that coinciding with some good goaltending will lead to some success if health is in our side. But again, number one in the Pacific Division, Vegas, Edmonton, Vegas with Marner, no chance.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but here's what we're going to do today. Let's break it down by position and see where things end up. And maybe we'll do an alternate ranking where we combine defense and goaltending, because I think that's where the Canucks really shine in these rankings. Spoiler alert is the fact they got pretty strong defense and goaltending on paper now. Okay, let's go through. Let's start from the goaltending, because we know from the Roberto Luongo area that it starts in net, baby. So here's how I have the goaltenders ranked in the Pacific Division, or the goaltending tandems ranked in the Pacific Division. I'll go backwards. I got the Sharks at 8. It's Alex Nedeljkovic and Yaroslav Askarov. I get the Oilers, the Stanley Cup, the two-time Western Conference champion Oilers at 7th in the division with goaltending. That should surprise no one. If you're an Oilers fan listening, it's just the truth, man. What the hell are you guys doing over there? Stuart Skinner with a crap season last year. So Sharks, Oilers, Kraken in 6th. Joey Decourt had a good year. They still got Philip Grubauer there. Knights in 5th. Aiden Hill, a bit of an off year last year. Akira Schmid backing him up. And then I really have in a separate tier, the top 4. I got the Flames number 4 with Dusty Wolf, who, man, oh man, he had a great season. You got an unproven Devin Cooley behind him as the backup, though. At 3rd, I got the Ducks. Lucas Dostal, great season last year. He's got Peter Mrazek and Ville Husso behind him. And this is the one I struggle with the most. Maybe it's the Canuck buy shining through, but I got the Kings at 2 and I got the Canucks at 1 now. Darcy Kemper in the Vezina conversation last year. He did not play well the year before. And it really is the reverse for Thatcher Demko. Again, injury-riddled year last year, was honestly off in the first 12 games, looked better for a stretch, but really his season was totally derailed by injury. For me, the tiebreaker between the Canucks and Kings were the backup. Now, Anton Forsberg has been a decent backup in the NHL, coming over from Ottawa to the LA Kings. But the Vancouver Canucks with Kevin Lankinen backing up Thatcher Demko, to me, that puts the Canucks over the top as having the best goaltending in this division. Oh, I can't hear you, buddy. Where'd you go?
I'm still here, Trevor. I just have to just press a couple buttons. Again, as a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm not doing my job right now, and I'm not listening to you. We just made the biggest trade in the history of my life, okay? I think I'm about to win a Super Bowl. So, Trevor, can you just continue on with the show until I catch myself?
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. All right. So, in terms of the rankings there, it's, again, I see a clear-cut top 4 and a clear-cut bottom 4, and the fascinating thing about goaltending here is that, in the top 4, you have the Canucks, the Kings, the Ducks, and the Flames. You got two teams who really should be in the playoff mix with the Canucks and Kings, and two teams who were kind of in the playoff mix last year, I think largely due to goaltending in the Ducks and the Flames. And in that bottom tier, and maybe this is harsh to the Golden Knights, but again, Hayden Hill did not have a fantastic year last year, has a so-so backup behind him. I even put Knights Kraken. I almost think that's a tier above the Oilers and Sharks. I mean, what the hell are the Oilers doing in net? But this is making a big difference in terms of the strength of the division, right? The Canucks, if they're going to go places this season, it's because of the goaltending. And honestly, the goaltending gives them a good goddamn chance to do so. Now, just in case you think that my rankings are biased, I did look at some rankings over at tsn.ca. And they basically had, the LA Kings are the only team that has better goaltending in the Vancouver Canucks. And they tiered it as well. They have the LA Kings and the Canucks. They're goaltending in a tier of their own. Now, Thatcher Demko, perhaps the most important player or person in the Canucks organization this year, is Thatcher Demko's doctor, okay? How is the paparitis, the papatees doing? Because, again, if you can get Thatcher Demko healthy, Kevin Lankinen spotting him 35 starts, I truly believe that the Canucks have the best goaltending in the Pacific Division. Now let's go to the defense, okay? And this is where, again, maybe the Canuck buys a shot at through,
Trevor,
okay?
I got something to say. Can I ask you a question, theoretical question? Again, I'm dealing with a lot right now. I just got Micah Parsons, okay? But I'm a Canucks fan, so let me just be a Canucks fan right now instead of being delusional. And, dude, I'm high on cheese right now. I'm taking the rest of the day off. Trevor, let's say, and I just said this on a YouTube short, if Demko and Kevin Lankinen are like peanut butter and jelly, the most classic, best sandwich in the world, like you don't even need a toaster, you don't even need a knife, you don't even need butter, you know what I'm saying? You just need those 3 ingredients and you got a 10 out of 10 meal. If that's them, but if Demko still gets hurt, at least we still have a peanut butter sandwich, right? What I'm trying to say is this, Trevor. If Demko's not healthy, where do you rank the Canucks goaltending? Because isn't it still? I mean, I know we don't have Sheelovs, we don't have a third string goaltender, but Kevin Lankinen, you best believe, is more prepared now to play more games. Like at least he's kind of knows his body and what's to come if that's the case. And I guess what I'm trying to ask you is like, how good is Kevin Lankinen? And with Demko, do the Canucks still have like without Demko, do they still have top 3 goaltending? I think so.
Wow, you think the Canucks have top 3 goaltending in the division if Thatcher Demko's injured? No, I would honestly, when I look at this list, again, if it's Kevin Lankinen, and who would it be? Yuri Patera, Nikita Tolopilo.
I'm just talking about Kevin Lankinen. Who are the best goalies in the Pacific Division when Demko's not there? It's like Dustin Wolf, Aiden Hill.
I would probably put Lucas Dastaal over Kevin Lankinen. I'd probably put Darcy Kemper over Kevin Lankinen. Yeah, I would say he's kind of in that Aiden Hill.
Was before he got hurt. Like Kevin Lankinen was damn good until he got overworked. Now, I know the scenario kind of opens the door for him to be overworked again, but I'm just talking about skill level wise. Look at what he was before he was a number 1 goaltender with the Canucks. A part-time number 1 goaltender. Wasn't the fancy stats telling you that, this guy does have like boom potential? And he kind of lived up to that. Again, Kevin Lankinen, I watched the film. The guy's a skillful goalie. Like, I think he can be just as good as Lucas Dastaal this season.
Yeah, again, if he's not overworked, right? But if Thatcher Demko's not in the equation, this guy's going to get overworked because the Canucks will basically have to make a deal to get another experienced backup in there, right? Because again, there's no security blanket, right? Unless you're Callum Sandu and you're just like the biggest Nikita Tolopilo fan in the world, or you're just charmed by the smile of Jiri Patera. There's no one else really behind Kevin Lankinen. So honestly, I look at this list, I would probably have the Canucks with the 6th best goaltending in the Pacific Division if it's Kevin Lankinen and one of those aforementioned backups. If there's no Thatcher Demko in the lineup, probably only better than Edmonton and San Jose, and even that's a toss-up for me because at least in San Jose, you got a couple of like young-ish goaltenders with potential in Askarov and Delkovich, and then the Oilers, Skinner and Picard. I mean, they've been good enough to get the team to the Stanley Cup final. So yeah, I would honestly, the Canucks might go from 1st to 8th because I'm really looking at the tandem, right? That we're in a league now.
Okay,
Where
how is it even
tandem.
possible? How do they go from 1st to 8 or 1st to 6 without one of them? I feel
because you need a tandem, man. There's a huge drop off from Demko and Lankinen to Patera and Tolopilo. There's a huge drop off there.
I know, but I just feel as if, don't we have to put way more credit and way more aura into who Kevin Lankinen is? Like he's not an average goalie. Like at his best, based on what I saw last year, based on all the fancy stats you were spitting out last year too, I'm like, yo, if he's healthy as well and plays the right amount of games, which again, in this scenario is not the case, but just individually, if we're talking about his skill, I'm like, yo, Kevin Lankinen is like 86 overall, 87 overall. He's pretty good.
Yeah, and again, if we're power ranking goaltenders in the division, like I'm putting my Canuck bias out there and having Demko first, and then it's probably going to be Kemper, then it's going to be Dastahl, then it's going to be Wolf, and then I probably put Aiden Hill next just because he had the Vezina, although he had a down year last year, and then probably Lankinen. So he's one of the best 8 goalies in the division, and he's a backup, right? And I think that's the reason why the Canucks have the best goaltending in this division. But again, if Thatcher Demko misses a chunk of time, you're overworking Kevin Lankinen, and you're in the exact same situation as last year.
I think Kevin Lankinen is as good right now, not like his potential, but as good right now as Dastahl. I know Dastahl played well for Anaheim and look at the fancy stats, but he was getting a lot of work and he stayed healthy the whole season. I know there, and he just got paid as well, and they moved out Gibson, and yeah, I know he's talented, but I just feel as if Lankinen didn't get hurt last year, like scratch the overwork thing. I'm just saying if he didn't get hurt, like what if his body was able to handle it? Like if he didn't get hurt last year, the Canucks would have made the playoffs. Kevin Lankinen was the 2nd best player on this team when he was healthy. Like if we didn't have Quinn Hughes, he'd be the number 1 player on this team.
Yeah, we talked about it for months at the beginning of the year, right? Kevin Lankinen and Quinn Hughes, like they kept the Canucks afloat. They kept the Canucks alive. But yeah, again, if Thatcher Demko goes out in November and misses the rest of the year, the Canucks are going to be in trouble because they can't have Kevin Lankinen play the other 62 games moving forward. Let us know in the comments, is the Canucks bias shining through? Is Thatcher Demko the best goalie in the division? Is Kevin Lankinen one of the best 5 goalies in this division? Let's get to this, cut to break, get to the other side, and we'll wrap up our rankings for the defense, the forwards, and the final power ranking here in the Pacific Division on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the program, we got to shout out our friends over at FanDuel. And Kyle, I know you're not a betting man, but you're probably feeling lucky today, man. I mean,
I'm betting my dog on the Packers winning the Super Bowl.
That's a big bet. I mean, Loki is an absolute beauty. Just make sure you get a vacuum, man. She's a shedder.
Well, Loki's actually a dude.
I know.
What you? So
it's 2025. Loki can be whatever he wants to be.
Continue. Okay, continue.
All right. If you're betting on sports, make sure you go check out FanDuel. NFL season's around the corner. NHL season ramping up as well. Kyle, there you go. He's betting his dog and his left nut on the Packers winning the Super Bowl, because at least get another one there, Kyle, unlike some people. So again, go check out FanDuel. The app is so damn easy to use. Even an old 32-year-old like me can use it. And man, oh man, I'm not betting on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. So Kyle, you can enjoy the moment, man. And we'll chat when the Packers get knocked out of the divisional round this year. Are you ready to play? Go download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Boom, bam. Okay, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks and my Green Bay Packers. Yes, the Green Bay Packers just traded for Micah Parsons. This is Reggie White-esque, and the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. And what are the chances that all this is happening? Again, the biggest trade in Packers history since like the mid-90s, okay? When they made 2 of them. What are the chances that this happens to me a day after Trevor takes a full-time job to be a hockey reporter? No, honestly, this is the greatest moment of my life. This is the greatest week of my life. And if my girlfriend's listening to this, sometimes she thinks I'm too much of a bro. I'm 32 years old. Maybe I should think about the future a little bit more, and her, and look forward to the cuddles and seeing her 7 days a week and, just cooking dinner with her and stuff. And this is exactly why we're not getting married until I win a Super Bowl and a Stanley Cup. For moments like that, like everything's starting to make sense now. And baby, if you're listening to this, it's all good at Applewood. We're going to be fine together forever. But right now, I'm a sports fan before a man. Or before you're a man. That's what I meant to say. Okay, Trevor? I'm so excited.
You might be getting a little selfish because you have won a Super Bowl. I know it was like 14, 15, 16 years ago, but you have won a Super Bowl, dude.
But Trevor,
You remember that, right?
I do remember that. But when the Packers won the Super Bowl that year, my grandma was passing away. She was really, really ill in the house. It was she had a couple more months to live. It was just different somber times, somber times.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, I'm proud of the organization, proud of my homie Aiden who got to celebrate that win. But I couldn't really connect with it. And dude, I want more. It's Title Town, okay? It's not the Vancouver Canucks. It's the Green Bay Packers. We want more. All that being said, this is a Canucks show, and it's time to talk about the D. And I already know what's about to come because Trevor Beggs thinking Kevin Lankin is one of the worst goalies in hockey. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my God,
I'm pretty sure you're about to say Philip Hronek's one of the most overrated defensemen in the game because he's just riding the coattails of Quinn Hughes.
I just gave the Canucks the best goaltending in the Pacific Division. Are you in agreement with that? The Canucks have the best goaltending in the Pacific?
I don't get how you could give them the best goaltending in the Pacific Division if you think Kevin Lankinen is not as good as I think he is based on Demko being a 50-50 candidate to get hurt. Like, if you literally don't think Kevin Lankinen is top 4 in this division, top 3 in this, Canucks can't be at number 1 yet. Like, Demko has a lot to prove. He's got to stay healthy.
Sorry that I only had him at 5th overall, even though he's a backup goalie, man. The tandem matters, man. Just like that's like your pair of nuts, man. That tandem matters. That's why I'm a little bit worried about you when you bet your left nut on the Packers winning the Super Bowl. Anyways, okay. I digress. Let's go to the defense, and I'll start from the bottom up again. I got the Sharks again at the bottom. I mean, it's like Mario Ferraro and John Klingberg on that defense. The Ducks at number 2, Jacob Trouba, Radko Gudas, Jackson LaCombe had a great season. Some youngsters that could take a step, but they're not there yet. The Kings, this might be the most controversial one. I have the Kings with the 6th best defense in the division. I just think it's the defense that really took a step backwards this offseason. Signing Cody Ceci, signing Brian Dumoulin. You have a great player there in Mikey Anderson. They lose Jordan Spence. You got an aging, injured Drew Doughty there as well. The Kings have had a good defense on paper for the last couple of seasons, but I'm a little bit worried about them heading into this season. The Kraken, 5th in the division. Again, I got some good guys there. Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Jamie Alexiak, Brandon Montour. Like, they should be better than they've been. Riker Evans is a good young guy too. At 4th, I got the Flames, kind of similar to the Canucks. Good defense, good goaltending, weaker forward group. Some good bodies there with Uyghur and Rasmus Anderson. And the top 3, I do have the Knights at 3rd. Again, losing Pietrangelo sucks, but you still got Shea Theodore there, Noah Hannafin, Braden McNabb, Zach Whitecloud. You got some good bodies there. Number 2, I got the Oilers. Again, maybe to 1 to 6, more experience, but less of a high ceiling than the Vancouver Canucks. And of course, I got the Vancouver Canucks with the best goaltending and the best defense in the Pacific Division. Kyle, what do they say about defense, buddy?
Defense wins championships, and yeah, nothing satisfies more than a strong D. It's just the foundation of everything. But Trevor, I'm trying to again, you're catching me at the wrong time because of the Micah Parsons trade. Because now I'm like overly optimistic about every aspect of my life. But you saying out loud a day after committing your life to hockey journalism that the Canucks had the best goaltending and the best defense in the Pacific Division after a year from hell is proof that you're not going to sell your soul. You're not going to become a journal and get rid of the bias. You're actually going to be a Canucks fan getting paid to do so, and I'm proud of you because that's a bold statement, isn't it? I know you're doing the math, you're looking at the paper, and you know you get it's not that hard to connect all those dots, especially with health being, in this world that we're living in right now. 100% matter of fact, nobody's getting hurt. This is gonna happen. Okay, we got the best goaltending, boom, bam. But that's a strong statement because if you say that out loud, and one of those defensemen is Quinn Hughes, and one of those goaltenders are Thatcher Demko, I can't be stupid and when asking you this, but like, do you also think the Canucks are Stanley Cup contenders? No, honestly,
you'll find out by the end of this power rankings, eh? But look, I honestly it's easy to get the Canuck blinders on when you do this, and I do try to step back and be unbiased. But looking at goaltending, I think the Kings are the only team that has an argument for being better than the Canucks tandem right now. And of course, injuries play a huge part of it. If Demko or Lankinen goes down, the tandem looks a lot different. Of course, if Quinn Hughes goes down, the Canucks probably have the worst defense in the division, right? But that might be a bit bold because there's some bad defenses in this division. But even in this division for defense, I think the Oilers are the only team that have a shot at having a better defense than the Vancouver Canucks. You know, Bouchard's a great player. They bring in Jake Wallman, who's a good player. Brett Kulak, incredibly underrated. Matthias Ekholm, good defenseman, although he's getting a bit older as well. Like, they got some good bodies there, 1 through 6. I think Darnell Nurse, he's one of the most overpaid dudes in the NHL, but he's probably a solid bottom pairing defenseman, we'll put it that way. But the Vancouver Canucks, look, with Quinn Hughes, with Philip Peronic, with Marcus Pettersson, that's a strong top 3. Tyler Myers, much like Darnell Nurse, I think is a strong bottom pairing defenseman who probably plays a little higher up the lineup than he should. And of course, there's some projecting ahead with the guys below. I mean, Derek Ford was great in the penalty kill. Elias Pettersson and Tom Willander, Victor Mancini. There's some potential there, but some question marks too. But, really, it's, again, the Canucks, I think they have the best goaltending. I think they have the best defense in the division. I think there's one team for each category who could compete with the Canucks. But I mean, it does feel a little bit bold. It's got my balls tingling, man. I'm not going to lie.
No, it's making me excited for what next season could be if we stay healthy. And Trevor, like, can we sidetrack just a little bit outside of the analytics and the theoreticals about all these players and whatnot and what could be, and just specifically hone in on Quinn Hughes? And I just want to measure your excitement. You're going to be in the rink every day, and I know you're a diehard sports fan too. So I'm just very, very, like, I'm happy that you get to experience what you're about to experience. Because on one end, it's like, okay, cool, you have to cover the Canucks, great. But it's like, you also get to cover and watch 40 plus games or whatever the number is of one of the best athletes in North America do his thing time in and time out if he's healthy, and that's Quinn Hughes. And I guess that leads me to this question. Like, do you think Quinn Hughes, and I don't know, put a percentage to this, do you think he can one up what he did last year? And I know he got injured and he had less points last year in theory than he did the year before, but he was like out before he got injured, and he was playing with a lot of injuries too. He was magnificent. You you remember that goal he scored against Pittsburgh? Like, he was just starting to do some ridiculous, like, he was on another level. So I just want to ask you, like, do you think Quinn Hughes can get better and will be better next season?
Yeah, I do think this guy's got 100-point potential while being, a great, maybe a great shutdown defenseman is a little strong, but be really solid defensively. Is he leveling up, or is he just the same guy we saw in the first 30 games last year? I'm not quite sure, because that player he was on pace for like 20, almost 30 goals at one point, right? He had like 9 goals in 25 games. I remember that night when he scored his 9th against Calgary, I think it was. So, I mean, that's the next level for Quinn Hughes, is can he do that over a full 82 games? So I guess, yes, in a sense, I do think he can level up this season. I think he's one of the most dedicated dudes in the game. I think he wants to be the best defenseman on the planet. Especially
make a prediction, point prediction, because I'm ready. I'm ready to say some bold things. Again, you caught me on. I'm sniffing that Parsons, bro.
All right, man, let's go. The offense is going to have to help him out. The forward's going to have to help him out as well. But let's feel optimistic. Let's go 22 goals, 103 points.
23 goals. And did he 70 assists?
That'll be more than that, buddy. 22 goals, 103 points. Boop, 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 boop,
71 assists. 71 assists. No, 81 assists.
Yeah.
81 assists. Sorry. Yo, and Greener saying 24 goals, 82 assists. Okay, are we just stupid? Like, No, we're not
No,
stupid.
he's shown this. He's shown that he can do this. He just has to stay healthy.
Exactly. And I feel as if, keep this in mind, I think he's going to take ownership of this whole team like he did last year. Like he knew the walls were crumbling within that room. And he knew that every time he hit the ice, like he wasn't really playing with the team. He was playing with a bunch of individuals because of how, for lack of a better word, cancerous that team was. And look at what he did. He wanted to do everything. And some people were getting mad at him for trying to do everything, but he was doing everything. And I feel like 85% of the time when he was healthy, he was able to pull off everything. Like that's how magnificent this guy is. And if he stays healthy, and this team's going to need offense, so he's going to take ownership of the offense. I know he's missing Miller, one of his best PP mates, but power play mates. Trevor, don't grin. I'm sorry for saying that. I think if he's healthy, 100% healthy, and he takes onus and wants the puck on his stick and he wants the game on the line, I think him getting 25 goals and him producing 80 assists, that sounds crazy. I think it's possible, and I hope it happens this season so you're a part of it. Like, you get to watch that. I think your sports IQ just being around that's going to get way better. No, that's incredible. Like, obviously, every team has a best player on their team, and every league has a best player in the league, but you may be walking into some magic history type-ish happening in Vancouver this season.
Could be, man. I believe that's the case, and I certainly hope it's the case, man. And remember, we got it all covered here on Locked On Canucks. All right, man, we're almost at the half-hour mark, so let's take a quick break, cut to the other side, wrap up the forward rankings and the final power rankings here in the Pacific Division on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't even name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's your RSP, 401k, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch, it's built for people like you with busy lives, okay? Guys who are just going boom, bam, reading books, walking the dog, doing podcasts, editing podcasts, doing push-ups, and they put off organizing their finances. Remember, Monarch is here for people like Kyle and you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
People, we back doing this, talking about the Canucks, talking about Micah Parsons. I might change my name to Micah Bhawan. That's actually a cool name. I'm now, if you're listening to this, now we got a new name we just came up with for the future offspring. Anyways, again, this is Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show. One love to Beggsy, second best dad in the world, and now officially the 27th ranked hockey journalist in Vancouver. Congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment. And let's get to the comments. Andrew saying he's 27 goals, 86 assists. We're just okay. What's going on, guys? The optimism, okay? He's also saying Patterson. Well, Greener's saying Patterson will pick up 104 points. Okay, come on, unbelievable. Hey, Trevor, and this leads me to this comment. Okay, from Travis saying this team goes nowhere with the rookie coach Adam Foote. I'm pretty sure Adam Foote scored 8 goals in his whole hockey career. I'm joking about that, but yeah, now you're about to rank the forward group, aka quote unquote the offense. You can't really say that about the Canucks because Quinn Hughes plays on the back end, but in theory, let's just do that. I'm not going to be surprised if the Canucks you labeled the Canucks having like the 7th best forward group in this division, or like the 6th best forward group in this division. And I wonder how much that has to also do with the coaching staff of this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's I did struggle with this one a bit because I think there's a clear-cut top 2, obviously, and I think there's another team that's really by themselves in 3, and then I kind of had groupings of the bottom 5, if you want to call it that. So I'll work backwards, and again, so I had the Flames last in the division. I mean, they got some young and up-and-coming players, but they're led by an aging Nazem Kadri and an underproducing Jonathan Huberdeau. I had the Kraken at 7. They got some young guys who could step forward, but A lot of bodies there. Now, this is where I struggle because last year, without Pettersson going, the Canucks forward group really reminded me of the Kraken's forward group. But for now, it's Kraken 7. Actually, the Sharks 6th. I think they got a lot of exciting young players coming up. I'm curious what steps they'll take this season. I could see the Sharks, if Pettersson has another off year, having a better offense than the Canucks. I mean, so much revolves around Pettersson. That's the problem. But I got the Sharks at 6. I got the Canucks at 5th, the 5th best forward group in the division. But again, I really think that there's a top 3 and a bottom 5 here, right? So I have the Canucks at 5th. I have the Ducks at 4th. The Ducks are the better forward group than the Canucks. I just think their top 9 overall is better. They added some veterans in the offseason. And then I really think the teams are a tier above. Then the Kings at number 3. They've proven that they have some depth throughout their lineup, even though, Kopitar's going back. Byfield hasn't really broken out as a star. But you got Kempe, you got Fiala, guys like Trevor Moore providing offense. And then 1 and 2 is pretty simple. I mean, I got Vegas at 2 and I got Edmonton at 1. Vegas, again, definitely has better depth. But when you got the 2 best forwards on the planet, McDavid and Draisaitl, that's pretty hard to beat. So with that being said, the Canucks' best goaltending, best defense, and the 5th best forward group in the division. So that brought me to a final rankings if I weight this equally based on forwards, defense, and goaltending, the power rankings goes as follows. It's Sharks 8, Kraken 7, Flames 6, Ducks 5th, Kings 4th, Knights 3rd, Oilers 2nd, and Canucks 1st.
Unreal. Trevor, can you just quickly go through the forward rankings again? Because all I heard was Micah Parsons. Just quickly go from 8 to 1, please. I want to rebuttal with you. Bad podcast. But if you're listening to this, don't blame me. A lot of people on the audio side don't like me. I get it because I'm all over the place. But dude, today I'm a better man after this. Anyways, go to 8 to 1 because I got some questions for you.
Okay, Pacific Division by forwards. I have Flames 8th, Kraken 7th, Sharks 6th, Canucks 5th, Ducks 4th, Kings 3rd, Golden Knights 2nd, Oilers 1st.
Okay. How much? Where do the Canucks rank in those rankings if Philip Heedle's a 60-point guy? Do they move past the Ducks?
Depends it just depends with the Ducks too, right? Because a lot of it's projecting forward, like Leo Carlson, Cutter Gauthier, Mason McTavish. What are they going to do? But yeah, theoretically, I think the Canucks, if Pettersson and Heedle have good seasons, could have the 3rd best forward group in the division, behind the Golden Knights and Oilers. I do think it's the Oilers and Golden Knights in a tier, the Kings probably in a tier of their own, and then the rest in a bottom 5 group. I don't know if there's that much differentiating even 8th from Flames through Ducks. I think the Flames are probably clearly at the bottom. But yeah, I think that's a pretty tight group between the bottom 5. It's a lot of meh among the 4 groups for 5 to 8 Pacific Division teams.
Okay, then how much do the Canucks climb up the rankings in the forward department if Pettersson reaches his potential again offensively? If Pettersson's a 95 to 100 point guy, consider the trickle down effect. Consider what that does to Heedle too. Alleviate some pressure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that bolster them right away to number 3?
Yeah, I think so. Because the Kings don't have a guy like that. That's hitting 100 points. And a player like Pettersson, it's the same with McDavid and Draisaitl. When you have a player on your team getting 100 points in the season, it makes the players around him better. Their offense increases because they're playing with a superstar like a McDavid, like a Draisaitl, like an Elias Pettersson.
Trevor, man, you did it, man. I can't believe Trevor, on his first day as a full-time guy in this world, just said the Canucks are winning the Stanley Cup.
Man, oh man. Now, I will give one more alternate ranking. So I group forwards and D together, or forwards and D, goaltending and defense together in one ranking, and then forwards by themselves. It kind of ends up with a 3-way tie between the Knights, Oilers, and Kings. I would probably put a gun in my head. I'm probably going to go Knights, Oilers, and Kings in that order. Canucks are actually a close 4th behind those teams, and there's a divide between the rest. It would go Ducks 5, I'm going to go Ducks 5, Flames 6th, Kraken 7th, Sharks 8th.
And where do the Green Bay Packers rank in all of this, Trevor?
The Green Bay Packers. Well, Kyle, I'm glad you asked, because the Green Bay Packers, they can
I'm winning a Super Bowl. I'm winning a Super Bowl. I'm winning a Super Bowl. And I'm happy for my friends. I'm happy for people around me. I'm happy for the Canucks. The Canucks have the strongest D in the league, the strongest goaltending in the Pacific Division. The Packers have Micah Parsons. Trevor's living the dream. I don't need anything, bro. Like, be careful what I wish for, but yo, I don't know, man. Dude, I don't know. I could just be a dog walker. I want to be a dog walker. I'm not going to lie. That's actually one time I lost my job when I was 25 years old before I had to move back with my parents again. And I applied to be a dog walker. Where am I going with this? All I'm saying is, like, I really don't need much in this thing called life, other than for the people around me, including my family in Green Bay. If people don't know, I'm actually kind of born in Green Bay. I want them to be happy, and I want Trevor to be happy, and it seems like that's happening right now. So I'm a happy Trevor.
Well, hey, Kyle, we'll end it on this note, man. I mean, let us know in the comments again. Are the Canucks the best team of the Pacific Division? Because my super scientific power rankings, it says, though. And for the YouTube viewers or the audio listeners, Kyle, look what colors I got on my shirt today, man. Look what colors I got on my shirt.
Green, locked on. Damn.
There you go, man. One love to you and you for tuning into this episode of Locked On Canucks. Kyle, congrats on the Micah Parsons trade. Again, Green Bay Packers, they're going to lose in the divisional round, though. Just remember that. If you like what we're doing, go follow the show on the podcast. I can leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. On YouTube, you can subscribe and like, share with a friend. We appreciate if you do so. We won't be back tomorrow, I don't think. So we'll be back when I'm full-time in the biz, baby. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bhawan, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.